On June 2, 1943, 8 Junkers J-88 heavy fighters, each armed with forward-firing 20mm cannons and piloted by skilled Luftwaffe crews, attacked a single short Sunderland flying boat over the Bay of Biscay. The math seemed clear. 8 fast, agile fighters with superior firepower against one slow-moving patrol bomber traveling at 215 miles per hour should result in a quick defeat. But the engagement lasted 45 minutes. The Sunderland fired over 7,000 rounds from its 14 machine gun positions. 3 of the J-88s were confirmed shot down, 2 others were badly damaged, and the remaining 3 broke off the attack. The Sunderland, heavily riddled with 500 bullet holes, 1 dead engine, its radio destroyed, and most of its crew wounded, managed to limp back 350 miles to Britain, landing in Cornwall. The pilot received a Distinguished Service Order. The Germans nicknamed the Sunderland Fliegendes or the Flying Porcupine. It wasn't just heroism, it was a case of industrial design solving an economic problem. The Battle of the Atlantic posed an arithmetic crisis for the Allies. German U-boats were sinking merchant ships faster than British shipyards could replace them. In 1940, U-boats sank over 1,000 Allied vessels, and by mid-1942, they were sinking 160 ships every month. Churchill later confessed that the U-boat threat was the only thing that truly scared him throughout the entire war. The solution required long-range maritime patrol aircraft capable of locating submarines, engaging them, and, crucially, surviving the encounter. The Sunderland, however, emerged not from military specifications but from commercial economics. In 1933, the Air Ministry issued Requirement R.2033 for a 4-engine reconnaissance flying boat. Short brothers, already experienced with the S.23 Empire flying boat, had the answer. The S-23 was already used by Imperial Airways for global passenger routes. The company simply militarized this existing design, which reduced development risk, cut costs, and sped up production. The Air Ministry ordered the prototype in March 1936, 18 months before it was ready to fly. The conversion process was simple arithmetic. The S-23's proven aerodynamic hull and 4 Bristol Pegasus radial engines were kept. Powered gun turret were added at the nose and tail, a first for IAF flying boats. The structure was strengthened for military loads, and bomb racks were installed to carry up to 2,000 pounds of ordnance. The wingspan remained at 112 feet, and the length stayed at 85 feet. Empty weight increased from 24,000 pounds to 34,500, while the maximum weight rose to 58,000 pounds fully loaded. These modifications transformed the luxury airliner, which once carried 24 passengers, into a patrol bomber with an 11-man crew. The first Sunderland Mark I took flight on October 16, 1937. Test pilot John Lancaster Parker noted that its handling was similar to the civilian version, though the center of gravity shifted due to the added weight of the turrets. To compensate, the wings were given a 4-degree sweepback, which shifted the engine slightly outboard but improved single-engine controllability. Production deliveries began in June 1938, and the second aircraft joined 230 Squadron at IAF Calcutta, Singapore. By September 1939, when Germany invaded Poland, IAF Coastal Command had 40 Sunderlands in service. Initially, the Sunderland's operational value wasn't in submarine hunting. The aircraft lacked effective detection equipment or weapons for this task. Early missions focused on search and rescue. On September 21, 1939, 2 Sunderlands rescued 34 crew members from the torpedoed merchant ship Kensington caught. The flying boats could land in calm seas, taxi to the survivors, and take off again, capabilities that no land-based aircraft possessed. This rescue ability alone justified the Sunderland production costs. In the war's first year, the Sunderland defensive armament helped solidify its Porcupine reputation. The early production aircraft carried 7.303 Browning machine guns, 1 in the nose turret, 2 in beam hatches, and 4 in the tail turret. By 1940, upgraded versions added a second nose gun and 2 more in an upper dorsal turret. The Mark III, introduced in 1942, rearranged some of these guns but kept heavy coverage. Australian crews further modified their aircraft by adding 4 fixed forward-firing .303s in the nose for strafing. Some also equipped their aircraft with .50 caliber heavy machine guns in the beam positions. The maximum configuration approached 18 guns, providing more defensive firepower than any standard British aircraft. While the sheer gun count made an impact, the strategic placement of the weapons made the Sunderland even more effective. German pilots attacking a Sunderland would face fire from multiple directions, regardless of their approach. A stern attack encountered 4 tail guns, while a beam attack triggered fire from the dorsal and side positions. Even a frontal pass, which seemed the safest, met the nose turret fire, along with the pilot's fixed guns in later variants. The Sunderland couldn't outrun or outmaneuver fighters, but it could fire from all directions at once. The concept was proven in a battle on April 3, 1940, off Norway. 6 Junkers Ju-88 CS attacked a single Sunderland. The flying boat shot down one fighter, severely damaged another, forcing it to make an emergency landing, and drove off the remaining 4. The Germans quickly learned that attacking Sunderlands was risky, a lesson reinforced repeatedly. The Flying Porcupine nickname, some say, came from these encounters, though other sources claim it referred to the radar antenna arrays found on later versions. The legendary June 2, 1943, battle over the Bay of Biscay is one of the most famous. Sunderland EJ-134N, from 461 Squadron IV, had a crew of 11, 9 Australians and 2 Britons, led by Flight Lieutenant Colin Walker. They were hunting for U-boats and also searching for wreckage from BOAC Flight 777, a civilian airliner shot down the previous day, which carried actor Leslie Howard and 13 others. At 1900 hours, the rear gunner spotted 8 Ju-88 CS from Camp Geschwader 40, led by Lieutenant Friedrich Mader. Walker immediately jettisoned bombs and depth charges to lighten the load and pushed all 4 engines to full power. 2 Ju-88s attacked from opposite sides, hitting the Sunderland, disabling one engine, and starting fires. Walker threw the aircraft into corkscrew maneuvers, violently banking and diving to evade fighter aim while keeping defensive fire active. The dorsal gunner hit one Ju-88 badly enough that it seemed to go down. The rear gunner was knocked unconscious but later recovered. Another attacking Ju-88 was hit by fire from the nose and dorsal positions and withdrew. A frontal pass saw the front gunner set a Ju-88's engines ablaze. The engagement continued for 45 minutes, with at least 20 separate attack runs. 1 crew member succumbed to wounds, and most others were injured. The radio equipment was destroyed, along with the compass, airspeed indicator, and fuel gauges, which showed empty. The Sunderland fired 7,000 rounds, effectively depleting its entire ammunition load. Walker steered the crippled aircraft toward Britain, praying. At 2,248 hours, they landed at Pra Sands, Cornwall. 10 survivors waded ashore as the aircraft broke up in the surf. German records from Camp Geschwader 40 reported the engagement but listed no losses that day, leading to historical debate about the true number of aircraft destroyed versus the claims. The battle certainly took place, but whether 3 Ju-88s were shot down remains unclear. The strategic impact of the encounter, however, was undeniable. The mathematics were clear, even if the exact kill counts were debated. German fighters quickly learned that attacking Sunderlands meant accepting casualties. This deterrent effect amplified the Sunderland's effectiveness, not just through direct U-boat kills, but by allowing them to operate in contested airspace where other more vulnerable aircraft couldn't survive. This extended their patrol ranges and increased convoy coverage, saving merchant ships through their mere presence rather than direct combat. Submarine hunting capability improved over time, not through major design changes but through technological evolution. In October 1941, the ASV Mark II radar was introduced, with distinctive aerials mounted on the fuselage and wings. This early system could detect surface U-boats at several miles range, giving submarines enough warning to dive, but also providing Sunderlands enough time to reach attack positions. By 1942, new depth charges replaced the less effective bombs. The new charges, using Torpex explosive, sank to preset depths and detonated to create shock waves through the water, which U-boat pressure hulls couldn't withstand. In response, the Germans enhanced their U-boat anti-aircraft armament. By mid-1943, submarines carried 37mm cannons and quad 20mm flak guns. Some U-boat commanders chose to fight on the surface rather than dive when aircraft approached, temporarily reducing U-boat losses but inflicting casualties on the attacking aircraft. The Sunderland heavy defensive armament was crucial during this phase. Lighter patrol bombers couldn't suppress U-boat flak while attacking, but the Sunderland could use its nose guns to strafe the conning tower while making bombing runs, keeping German gunners hidden during the critical moments of the approach. The operational tempo was relentless, with missions lasting 10 to 13 hours on average, sometimes longer. Crews often lived aboard their aircraft between flights when stationed at coastal bases. The Sunderland size allowed for relative comfort, with a galley for hot meals, bunks for off-duty crew, and enough space to move around during marathon patrols. This habitability reduced crew fatigue compared to the cramped quarters of other patrol bombers, improving alertness during critical detection and combat moments. Some pilots jokingly referred to it as a flying boat hotel, but the amenities translated into real operational effectiveness. By the war's end, Sunderlands were credited with directly destroying 28 U-boats and assisting in 7 more kills. The first unassisted victory occurred on July 17, 1940, when an RAAF Sunderland from 10 Squadron caught a U-boat on the surface. While the total number of direct kills might seem modest against the 783 U-boats lost during the Battle of the Atlantic, the Sunderland's strategic value went beyond kill ratios. The deterrent effect, along with convoy protection and search and rescue missions, multiplied its impact. Each U-boat forced to submerge lost its speed advantage, and each submarine commander who hesitated before attacking a convoy because a Sunderland patrolled overhead represented an advantage in Britain's favor. Production totals reflected the sustained demand for the aircraft. The Mark II reached 90 units, including 15 built by Blackburn, and featured upgraded Bristol Pegasus 18 engines with 2-speed superchargers and a dorsal turret. The Mark III introduced revised hull planing, improved radar, and a powered nose turret, with 407 units built. The Mark V switched to American Pratt & Whitney R1830 twin wasp engines for better single-engine performance, with 155 new units built and another 33 converted from Mark IIIs. In total, 749 aircraft were produced by June 1946 when the last Sunderland was delivered. Its service life extended well beyond World War II, with Sunderland continuing to fly convoy protection missions long after the war's end. During the Korean War from 1950 to 1954, the Sunderland continued to provide protection, operating from Iwani, Japan, with squadrons 88, 205, and 209 rotating deployments. Daily missions still spanned 10 to 13 hours. The Royal New Zealand Air Force used the Sunderland until 1967, making it the longest-serving operator of the aircraft. The French Navy's Escadrille 7FE flew the Sunderland until December 1960, marking the last use in the Northern Hemisphere. The era of flying boats ended not due to obsolescence but because of airport infrastructure. Jet-powered land-based patrol aircraft could operate from any existing runway, while flying boats needed sheltered water. The Sunderland's economic advantage remained strong throughout its service. The aircraft solved multiple operational challenges, including long-range maritime patrol, convoy protection, search and rescue, anti-submarine warfare, and self-defense in contested airspace. No other single aircraft offered the same level of versatility. While the wooden construction of wartime bombers was cheaper per pound than the metal of flying boats, bombers couldn't land to rescue survivors or operate from forward bases without runways. The Sunderland's multi-role capability justified its cost despite being more expensive than land-based alternatives. The Flying Porcupine nickname perfectly captured the aircraft's wartime economics. The 14 machine guns didn't make the Sunderland a fighter. They made it survivable enough to perform missions other aircraft couldn't attempt. The defensive firepower acted as insurance against mission failure rather than offensive power. Every Sunderland that returned from a patrol could fly again the next day. Every crew that survived an engagement carried their experience into the next mission. The mathematics of attrition favored aircraft that could defend themselves well enough to make it home. The June 2nd, 1943, battle demonstrated this perfectly. Even if German record didn't confirm the loss of any Ju-88s, the attack failed. Sunderland EJ-134N survived. The crew survived. The Luftwaffe lost 45 minutes, expended substantial ammunition, and possibly lost multiple aircraft due to battle damage. They gained nothing. This exchange rate, 0 losses for complete mission success, was the ultimate achievement of the Sunderland's design. It wasn't about victory through firepower, but about mission success through survivability. The strategic lesson was clear. In maritime patrol operations, a defensible platform with adequate armament outperformed specialized capabilities on vulnerable aircraft. The Sunderland wasn't the longest-range patrol bomber, nor the fastest or highest-flying. It couldn't close the mid-Atlantic gap without refueling, but it could stay over contested waters where submarines operated, fend off interceptors, attack U-boats at surface to engage, and bring its crew home. That combination of presence, persistence, and survival made every machine gun worth it. The Germans called it the Flying Porcupine because attacking it was costly. The British flew it for 29 years because creating defensible platforms that crews trusted was better arithmetic than designing perfect aircraft that were doomed upon first contact with the enemy. The Sunderland proved that having adequate weapons on a survivable platform was far more effective than relying on perfect weapons that never reached their targets. 14 machine guns weren't the solution. They were the insurance policy that allowed the real solution, long-range maritime patrol, to succeed. If you're enjoying the content we provide and want to stay up to date with all the latest updates, subscribing is the best way to make sure you don't miss out on anything. Whether it's new articles, in-depth guides, or exciting announcements, subscribing ensures that you're always in the loop. With just one click, you will have access to regular updates and valuable information delivered directly to your inbox. By subscribing, you also become part of a community that shares similar interests and is committed to exploring new ideas, tips, and content that matter to you. Subscribing is quick, easy, and completely free. Simply click the subscribe button and enter your details to start receiving the latest posts, news, and updates that are tailored to your interests. You'll get first-hand access to exclusive content, special offers, and updates that help you stay informed and ahead of the curve. Don't miss out. Take a moment to subscribe today and ensure that you're always up to date with everything we have to offer. Join our community and let's continue this journey together.